Hey guys, welcome back. We are now in part 4 of our General Grant build, and right now I am right about here. I'm gonna work on the rear end assembly. I will get this done and I'll be back with that. Alright, we have the rear end assembly done. We've got our fuel tank in, we've got our fuel tank line in there. You can see that line, it is right there. We have our rear end differential in, we have the two lines going from that. I did put it on the full ride height. I changed my mind. Got the shocks in. Everything is ready to go. So I am now officially ready to throw the tires onto this thing. So, oh, one of the pegs fell out, but there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna get the tires on this thing and we'll see what it looks like on its wheels. Be right back. Alright, I took a break from working on the tires and such to do up my decal sheet. Here's the original ones from the kit. I printed up these guys right here. You can see, compare the two. So I got my American flag, I got my 76, I got my General Grant, and I did pinstripes too, because there's going to be pinstripes running along the edge of the car, or the side of the car, right down the center of the body line. So there are different color stripes, you can see barely here. That also goes around the 7. It's really hard to tell on the paper, but that color is also around the 7.6 and the General Grant. So what I need to do, I did print out a few of these. One of them went upsy daisy, printed the license plates over there. But what I need to do with these now is I need to get some clear coat on these, because you need a clear coat. These are a tester's decal paper. You need a clear coat, otherwise the ink will just run everywhere. So I want to get a couple of coats of clear on these, and while that's drying, I'll get back to work on my wheels. I'll be back in a second, guys. Alright, we got the General up on his wheels. Everything's done. Got the wheels all in. They look nice. Starting to get the interior done here. Got my seats in, got my shifter. I have my pedals done. You can see those up in there. And I also got the these sidewalls done. I did that center stripe in the Maltev pen. I did that little circle in aluminum. Did aluminum on the door handles. That strip is incorrect. It should be actually lower. The circle is independent of the strip. The strip is like right here, actually, that chrome strip. But it was molded there, so we're going to put it there. As you can see, that Maltev pen looks really nice and shiny on there. We have the dash started. Again, I Maltev the charger. And I started my wood grain. Got a few light colors in there. I kind of want to keep it in this light tone. But I am going to go back with a little bit of a darker wash, just to bring out some more of the wood. But I kind of like that light. So, I am now getting my roll cage ready. I've got all the paint scraped off where I need it. I am not putting the reinforcement part back here. We're just going to be putting in... Uh-oh. Everything's going wrong. We're just going to be putting in the main bar here. And then, of course, the roof support that connects to that. And then, of course, these are the floor supports there. And we have this support, which actually the dash mounts to, and that goes in there like that. So, I'm going to get to work with this. I'll be back when I've got at least the roll cage in, maybe the entire interior in. Be back in a flash. Alright guys, I've got most of the interior done. This wall is just sitting up here. I did though, however, go back in and I actually chromed the door handles. I think they look better chrome. But I got the steering wheel, I got the dash. When you put the dash in here, the dash is actually connected to the roll cage. There's a roll cage piece up here that attaches to this part here, and the there's a little tiny little nub here that this kind of sets on either side of this piece. and it kind of sits on those, and it kind of sits in between here. But when you put the dash in, put your body on the frame, just to make sure that this is at the correct angle. I set this into place and I put the body on. I discovered that this was a little too angled down. It was more of a 45-degree angle, so I popped it up. It looked fine in the frame, and then glued it into place. The steering wheel. Something about the steering wheel. Now, I suppose you could. The steering wheel, it's way too long to just pop in here. So I cut a big section of the end of it off, and I don't know where that went, but it's somewhere. You could. There is. It looks like a power steering, or yeah, it looks like a power steering right here, a pump right here. So theoretically, you could drill a hole through the firewall and connect the steering wheel actually to that power steering pump. At this point in the build, it would have been a pain in the tailpipe to do that. I already had this in place when I discovered, oh, there's no hole there. So it is an option. What else do we got? We got everything in place in here. I got my Hurst shifter on. I think that's it for the interior. While I was waiting for everything in the interior to get all dried out, I did actually wire up the engine. So we have all of our cooling wires, we have all of our oil wires, we have our spark plug wires. Now these spark plug wires, of course, are all over the place. I will be tying these up and tying them together. I'm going to wait for the glue to completely settle. While you're wiring this, I suggest before you put in some of these wires here, you connect the coil wire. Otherwise, you'll have to be trying to get your coil wire in through this big mess right here. So as you're going around, when you get to about here, put that coil wire in and then wire up the rest of these. So yeah, I got my wire here, or my cable here. I've got the two going, I think, to the water pump here from the radiator. I've got this. I believe that's the oil. No, that might be the fuel pump. That's the fuel pump down there. That's right. And because I got a tube coming off the back here by the manifold pipes. I also did up my pipes. I did scorch the end of the pipes. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything's wired up on there, ready to be mounted in. I think I'm going to do that next. So I will be getting these walls on. I'll be getting this mounted. This, of course, has to go back in here. And I think all I need to do for this is get on the radiator. And then we've got a little bit of a reinforcement bar that goes on the frame. It's more of a guard for the front end suspension right here. This should probably actually be aluminum, but we're going to leave it black. So I'm going to get work on that. I'll be back in a second. Alright, so we have everything assembled on the frame. Got the engine mounted, got the radiator mounted, got all my wiring in, all my tubing is in place from the pump to the radiator, from this to the radiator reservoir. I did put my battery line into the coil and then back to the frame, or firewall rather. The ground goes down here under the frame. I did use a smaller gauged wire here on the spark plug wires to make it look like he's zip tied it off. That's actually on both sides. There's a little zip tie there. There's a little zip tie there. Getting some of these tubes into place was quite a thing. The one from the oil pan went in fine. The one from the fuel pump, that took quite a bit to get that into the frame here. That was not fun. These guys went in just fine. The one from this reservoir over here was a little bit of a pain. Got the walls here, reinforcement back wall here. These have a itty bitty little tab or cutout right here that made me question where I mounted my dashboard. But when I put the body on it, that dashboard lines up pretty well to where it should. So I had to actually go in here and manually cut out a notch in order to get the dashboard to fit in to this, and to get this in the position it should be. Again, I put the body on this multiple times, so these line up fairly well, almost perfectly with the body. That wall is in there. I think that is it. I do have my drive shaft underneath, but I don't want to handle this so much. This section here is still drying, so I just want to kind of not touch it. So that is it for our frame and interior, and we will be doing the body. But I'm out of time this week, so we are going to focus on the body next week. We're going to be painting it up, assembling it, and hopefully getting this thing done. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Hope to see you next week. You guys take care.